After a great night's sleep, we woke up above the clouds, enjoying an unbelievable view. For breakfast, we only had a Coke, and we agreed that for a change, we do it properly in the first restaurant we came across. About an hour later, we spotted something in the distance that looked like it could be a restaurant. So we didn't think twice.
Ajmo. Mora se vratiti, možemo i ovako.
And we were right. We were served incredible chufte. And let's just say, the waiter didn't have much to wash when we were done. At one point, a flat open valley with small streams caught my eye, and I simply couldn't resist. Without saying anything, Chad and Gliga followed me, and a bit of playful off-road fun was exactly what we needed. This time, it was Gliga who declared the downhill race. But once again, Newton's second law made sure I was blown away right from the start. Since we didn't pass a single fuel station all day, I didn't want to gamble and ride on fumes again. With help from locals, we found a man willing to sell us 5 liters of fuel for 6 euros, just slightly more expensive than at the station. Yes, fuel prices in Turkey really are low, as you've probably noticed by now. With the day already slipping away, we made a plan for the night. Find a campsite below 2000 meters, so we'd be a bit more sheltered from the wind.
Što ste rekli, bilo bi pametno na ispod 2000 za večeras, a?
A?
Bilo bi pametno na ispod 2000, a?
2200.
Ako je ravno, brate, zabadaj tu i to je to. A? Da.
Napravi korita.
Kroz prizmu. Gdje sunce izlazi, ovamo?
Tako. Gdje je to? U mene.
Da, ti
U
si
tebe
rekao
ti flaša.
time slap.
Da.
Da.
Today's route included the famous D915 road, the one the TET rider we met 2 days earlier told us about. Built in 1916 by Russian soldiers during the Trabzon campaign, the road from Of to Bayburt climbs up Mount Soğanlı to an altitude of 2035 meters. It has 29 steep hairpin turns, no guardrails, and only the start and the end sections are paved. The middle part is pure gravel. In wet, dark, foggy or snowy conditions, it becomes extremely difficult, and it's considered one of the most dangerous roads in the world, even more dangerous than Bolivia's death road. And then, we reached the top and found 3 scooters waiting there. So much for the deadly part of the road. What followed was a long stretch of constant fog, which also brought a significant drop in temperature. Luckily, Cheda had his own solution for cold hands.
Daj na peticu. Dobre, šudi. Joj. Aj. To pizza nešto.
Right at the entrance to the town, we were stopped by a local patrol who wanted to check if our bikes were responding to the throttle properly. And if you ever wondered what the face of the truly happy child looks like,
Koliko smo smoreni što nismo u kampu. Znate kako prija kad uveče ne moram stavim kesa.
A stavi želja vidim.
Brate, znaš ti koliko nas prvo. Znači, bukvalno da te se ne porati neće se.
we ended the day collecting our impressions from the comfort of well-deserved warm beds. After a great night's sleep, we decided to have breakfast by a nearby lake.
Kakav bi ovdje kamp bio, brate.
Živjeli.
And it turned out to be a perfect call. Quiet water, fresh air, and that kind of view that rests your head before the harder riding begins. There, the route climbed higher and higher, and for the first time we hit genuinely more technical terrain. Loose, crumbling ground didn't leave much room for tire grip. Every input mattered. Then, at one point, even Chada's brand new tire gave up and the bike ended up on its side.
Dobar. Si ga lepo krenuo, brate. Dokumentovan.
Yes?
all three of us had to roll up our sleeves to get the beast back on its wheels.
Oba abi, hey.
Later, we checked the navigation and realized we were just a bit short of 3,000 meters above sea level.
Fali nam 50.
The trek up to a nearby rise wasn't part of the official route, but curiosity won. We deterred to see if it crossed that line. After that, we dropped into a nearby town to restock supplies, and then pushed on. After 14 days of riding and roughly 3,000 kilometers, tire wear was starting to show.
Dobro.
But we made it through without any serious consequences.
Prije
su prednji.
Prošli ti prednji, da.
Aha.
Ma da.
Breaking through the cloudy sky, we climbed again, straight into clear blue skies about 2,500 meters. And on our last night camping in the mountains, we set a new personal record. Tents up at 2,800 meters. What more could you ask for than a clear, sunny morning after a cold and windy night? This was our last off-road day riding as a trio, and we spent almost the entire day about 2,500 meters. The landscapes were unreal. For each of us, it was the first time riding in a place like this, and it honestly felt like stepping into a different world. At one point, we spotted a patch where the snow still hadn't melted, so of course we stopped for photos. While Cheda used it as an opportunity for payback.
Sonny, busy.
Soon, we were closing in on the beach campsite we'd booked, and those were also our final kilometers together as a group of 3. Cheta then drops the news that he still has 10 days of vacation left, so tomorrow he is heading on toward Georgia. At least, one of us will make it to initial planned destination. After saying goodbye to Cheda, who still had 10 extra days off and was heading toward Georgia, not sure if I mentioned that already, Gliga and I turned back toward Bulgaria, to the place where we'd left the car and the trailer. Two tough days were waiting for us, roughly 1,500 kilometers of highway. Because of that, we stopped at the first shop we could find with engine oil, just to treat our machines before the long haul. We covered about 800 kilometers on the first day, which meant riding at night and having very few options for accommodation. We ended up camping at a gas station and continued the next day toward Istanbul. Istanbul welcomed us with its own version of Belgrade traffic, except here it lasts 2 hours. Eventually, we reached the border and crossed into Bulgaria. Another 50 kilometers or so, and we finally made it back to our car. That's where this journey really ended. From there, we still had about 800 kilometers left to get home. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and until the next time, goodbye.
Vežba za endurance.